There it is.
Whoop, there it is. Whoop,
There it
there
is.
it
Can you
is.
hear me?
Whoop, I can hear you.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
I took your advice. It really worked.
You know what? You over there looking sexy. My
Took
advice
your
normally
advice. It
does
really
work, but
worked. I appreciate it.
absolutely, y'all are killing it with these glasses, these shades.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God!
I'm trying to
Last time,
keep it. You know what I
huh?
mean? Trying
You
to
said
keep
you got.
it. I'm trying to keep it funky. You know what I mean? You got the Hollywood spotlight on you. I see.
You know what? Listen, I had it like on the top of the phone and stuff, but it was doing too much. So, I just put the right
So
shoe.
how's everything been going?
Everything is great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. This is a really interesting time to be alive, shall we say?
Yeah. Yes, it
You know
is.
what I
Yes, it
mean?
is.
Yeah, yeah,
2020 is crazy for you. I mean, you're celebrating 20th year anniversary of an emotional. And
yeah,
that's exactly what 2020 is right now for a lot of people. So
yeah,
how ironic is that?
yeah. Definitely. Um, you know, I've had more challenges this year. I've had more challenges this year. In 6 months than
Mm.
I've had in the last 20 years.
Wow. Wow. Can you share with us a
Yeah,
little bit of,
absolutely. Well, I
yeah.
mean, I've just been, I've really dealt with a lot of untimely death this
Mm.
year. And you really don't know what you're made of until it happens. I've, lost three close family members within 2 months. And then
Oh, I'm
right
sorry.
after that, my nana passed, but that was sort of kind of victorious, because she lived to be 103.
Woo!
So
Jesus. I
after a
mean, that's a
while,
blessed life.
yeah, you can be selfish, but after a while, she was like, even so, come, Lord Jesus. But
Yeah. You know what? At that time, it was like anything that needed to be discussed, anything that needed to be shared. I mean, you got it in.
yeah,
103?
yeah,
Woo.
she had a really interesting way of speaking. She had like a lisp in the
Mm.
front and she would say, Carl, you ever wonder why the Lord is keeping me here? You ever wonder why the Lord is keeping me? I say, to take care of me, of course, Nana. What are you talking about? Of course, you take care.
Period. Okay, Grandma, we got work to do. We
Yeah,
have work to
absolutely,
do. Oh, but that is such
absolutely.
a blessing, and definitely you have our sincerest and deepest condolences
Oh
in that
yeah,
area.
oh yeah,
But
definitely. At the end of the day, the family is all you got. At the end of the
yes,
day, so my family has been there for me. When it got really dark,
mm.
and they've also been there with me to celebrate and just act a fool. Whenever it's time to do that. And Lord knows we can really act a fool. I'm telling you. But
I,
I definitely want to apologize to everybody out there with the technical difficulties or what have you.
it
Just been kind
happens.
of raining on and off, and I guess signal is just very weak, and where I'm
Honey,
at, I'm actually in someone else's house right now. So,
listen, no apologies needed. We
yeah.
are glad that you rocking with us
See,
tonight.
if I was home, I would know how to turn that hanger, that clothes hanger. I know how to, turn that
Yeah.
clothes hanger just right, man. Yeah,
We gotta, nigga rig things. We know how to do it. We know how to do it. Oh, I don't wanna.
absolutely, absolutely. Shouts out to my man Eric Roberson. I just got off the phone with him. You know,
Oh, okay.
and
Mr.
you
Robeson.
definitely got to have Eric on the platform. You
Absolutely.
know
You
what I
know
mean?
what?
Yeah.
The roster for this is amazing. God has really opened a. I see you got your glass. I see you got your
Yeah, I see.
glass.
Brother
Yes.
Trey. That's my little brother right there. Brother Trey up in here. What's up,
Hey,
Trey? How you, man?
Trey. You know what? God has really opened a lot of doors for myself in doing the Glasses After Dark and Perspectives After Dark. And it's just something that really kind of just happened. And I just thank God for every person, every guest that I've had. It's been
Definitely.
amazing thus far, you know. And then I
Definitely.
have my big brother. This is just like
Yeah, I really appreciate being here. So I know what I know what you ready to do. You ready to talk shop? So let's talk music. Okay.
Okay, I want to give people a little bit of insight because I really received a lot of questions or just a lot of different things that people wanted me to ask you. Okay, and you guys, you know how we do. At the end of everything, we're gonna do our Q&A. So if you have questions, you might want to go ahead and shoot them to me now so that I can go ahead and just have them ready. Okay, but just to give you a little bit of insight, I love Carl, and everyone, and pretty much knows that about me. And I'm
Yeah.
just
Every
gonna,
time I come to Detroit to perform, she's always babying me.
you know what?
Christy said, Carl, we need new music.
Yes, yes, we do. And
Yeah, yeah,
because
definitely.
I want to talk about the emotional album, of course, because this is the 20th year anniversary. I know you've talked about it a lot, but I want to talk about it from a different
I
angle.
really don't feel like I've talked about it enough, honestly.
Really? Really? And you know what? Because for me, it was monumental, very impactful. I was in college when back in 2000,
Uh-huh.
and and I was going through a tough time. I went to University of Michigan, and it was
Oh,
very,
wow.
it wasn't segregated, but it was somewhat segregated,
Well, well, yeah.
it was rough. It was
Is
rough,
it? Yeah, yeah. Part of the
it
good
was
old
rough.
boys.
And so the thing about it is, because of the transition was different for me, growing up in the gospel industry, you're just friendly with everybody. There's no reservations about people unless you really just see those reservations. So for me, it was just a little bit of an adjustment. And then I got introduced to your album, and I listened to Summer Rain, and that just really took me to a different place. I mean, I was
Huh.
able to escape through that song. And it's just, and it's just like, whoa, like, what is this? And every
That
time
that
it came
record that
on,
that record had an interesting lifespan because Summer Rain. A lot of people really don't know Summer Rain. Um, almost didn't make the album because I have recorded maybe 60 records for that project,
okay.
and yeah, like literally like 60 records I recorded for that, and
Mm,
I had a lot of records left over. Um, so it was like I was literally at home at my mom's house, and I was
mm-hmm.
playing music for her because my mom is like the she's like the best and worst critic I've ever had in my life.
I met your mom.
Yeah, my mom is like, she, when I was young, I was taking piano and guitar lessons, and she was the kind of mother that was
On your
standing
head.
behind you with the belt hanging over her shoulder.
You better get it right.
You know what I
You
mean?
better get it right.
I mean, because we was project kids, and I guess she felt like, we really didn't have it to waste like that.
You know what? I think when it comes
You
to
know?
moms that are strict, it's because they see greatness in you. And
Yeah,
sometimes
everybody talked about how rough Joe was, and I just didn't see that. I didn't see Joe as being rough. Kind of mama I
it was a
had.
prerequisite. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a it's like, oh, that's what comes with this.
Yeah,
But I would rather, I think they wanted to take the focus of, instead of fear of yourself and your thoughts,
yeah.
fear this belt.
Well,
Okay, you
I
ain't
was
got time to be scared about
I
nothing
was
else.
literally sitting in my mom's kitchen,
Mhm.
and I was playing music for her, and she was giving me her critique, and she just kept on going back to Summer Rain. Like, what about this one? What about this song? What about? She just kept going back to it, and
Okay.
after a while, I started taking it as somewhat of an omen. Like, yo, I think you're gonna
Mm.
like CT. I think you're gonna mess up. Put this record. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Wise move. Wise
so
move.
and it was a special time recording that record because it was written by DJ Rogers Jr., which
Okay.
is one of the best friends in my life, and it was always it was produced by Heavy D and Warren Campbell.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So a lot
Oh
of people,
wow, that's
yeah, a lot of
heavy
people really don't even know that Heavy was that deep. You know what I
into
mean? Was
the.
that deep in music, but
Uh,
you know, yeah, I miss him a lot. You know, I miss Heavy a lot. You know,
yeah.
Heavy
Rest in peace,
actually
heavy.
produced, Heavy actually produced Summer Rain and Hey Now. Hey
Oh wow.
now, hey now, you are so
You better.
wonderful,
You
and
better.
I would give anything just to be in your arms. Yeah, it was really like, you know, he
Yes. You better see. Something she said. Don't make me faint,
no,
Carl. You better bring it.
but he really reminded me, you know, not that I
Mm.
wasn't one, but he really just Heavy just really reminded me that it was okay to relax and you know
Mm.
be that gentleman singer on Hey Now,
Mm.
because all the rest of the records took on different personalities, but that was the record that I was really allowed to be Nat
Just
King Carl. You know what I mean?
Nat King. I like that.
I was able,
Nat King Carl.
I was able
Okay.
to be Nat King Carl on that
Mm.
record. You know what I mean?
You know
Yeah.
what? So I mean, Heavy D, since we're on him a little bit, because he's always, to me, seemed like a very serious person. Even when he's singing, like, the girls that love me. It just seemed like, it just seems like he was just always so serious. So
Yeah,
like, was that his natural personality?
but Heavy was a fun-loving person. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Definitely in the studio or you know wherever it was. He was just really serious in the studio.
Mm.
You know,
Okay.
in the studio, he was a very serious person, and there really wasn't any time for joking around or anything like that. So, you know,
You know what? This is what we're playing Hey Now right now, and this was produced by Heavy D and Warren Campbell, right?
that's right. That's right. Warren Campbell.
You know what? This has such a really nice. Can you hear it? Are you
Uh
able to
huh.
hear it pretty good?
Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh. I can. I can. I can.
You know what? It has such a nice little groove to it. If you just sit in a tub with your candles and you have your beverage and just
Yeah. I
flow.
mean, it's crazy. While I was recording that album, it was like Heavy and Puff. They kind of had the Marvin Gaye disease. You know what I'm saying? So it
Just
was like,
explain
all
to
of
people what you
these.
mean by that. What do you
Well,
mean by
well,
that?
well. It's definitely no secret that Marvin is one of my biggest influences, and
Okay.
as well as one of Puff's greatest influences as well. You know,
Uh-huh.
with Marvin was always the reference when explaining a song. You know what I mean? Or when they were trying to get their point across, he was always the reference. He was always like, you know,
Thank you, McCormick.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He was always the how to. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Yeah.
You you know what? And because music is so influential, as an artist yourself, having seen the
Take
Marvin
these
Gaye.
off.
I,
These right
oh
here.
my God, he is you. Oh Lord, he's
You know,
switching
we're
it
gonna
up
switch
on
it up a
us,
little
y'all.
bit.
But you know
Switch
what?
it up,
I came prepared. I'm gonna switch up on y'all too, cause
switch it
y'all
up
not gonna
just a
keep
little
doing.
bit. Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all not gonna keep doing me like this. I'm gonna switch it up on y'all
Nah, I
too. So
mean,
later.
but the shades was actually your theme. You know what I mean? So I'm just
Yeah.
following instructions. You
Glasses
know what I
after
mean?
dark, y'all. Glasses after dark. We doing our thing. But you know what? Because I want to ask you, because music is so influential and so impactful.
Mhm.
Listening to the Marvin Gaye's, the Luther Vandrosses, and Freddie Jacksons, and all of those. And I can go back further, but I'm just stick right there into the 70s and 80s.
Mhm. Oh
But
wow!
how does
Somebody
this?
just said "All My Love" and "Secret Rendezvous." People
Okay,
actually,
that's
people actually listen to my interludes. They actually the interludes, like wow.
hold on, Malik Youssef, honey,
Uh,
that was listen, he was like, you may not pronounce us man and Malik Youssef, but you can't pronounce us man and wife. I said, okay, come on
yeah.
with it. I mean, the hope, first of all, this album, and I'm going to go through it. I'm
Well,
going to go through it.
every interlude was an unfinished song.
Hmm.
Every interlude was an unfinished song. And the crazy thing about it is that most of those interludes that I put on the album, I went back and finished the songs on those and actually
Okay.
made those songs. You know what I mean?
So let's
Yeah.
say you're a poet.
Yeah. But it's crazy. The first, man, the first poem I ever heard had no words.
Hmm.
First poem I ever heard, it had no words, but I heard it just the same. You know, it was actually, um,
Somebody say you have their relationships.
well, it was actually, I don't know if you remember it, but it was a really big movie in the late 70s that became popular in the 80s. And
Okay.
it was called Bugsy Malone. And it
Hmm.
was a musical. And what was so
Okay.
strange about Bugsy Malone is that the cast was all children, and it was a mobster film. Instead of bullets, the Tommy gun shot whipped cream, and the cars were powered by pedal. You know what I mean? So they were
Okay.
like pedaling
Okay.
the cars like bikes. But there was just one song in the movie called Tomorrow, and it was just this little black kid just sitting there sweeping up, singing tomorrow, tomorrow never comes. What kind of a fool do they take me for?
Hmm.
Tomorrow, a
Hmm.
resting place for bums. You know,
Oh
and
wow.
this young lady, I guess she was really empathetic about what he was going through, and she just began to dance right
Hmm.
next to him as he was singing. And I was so convicted by watching her dance. It was literally poetry. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It was poetry. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. You
um,
know. And
that was the first poem that I ever heard, I ever read.
you ever seen the movie Rise?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. And I got to give a shout out to Caesar because that is my guy. Caesar was one of the, do you remember the scene on the beach where the guy, he was dancing on the beach by himself? And it was like he was talking to the waves. He was talking to
Yeah,
whatever. That's Caesar, okay?
yeah,
Look, Caesar has I mean he did a thing with Chris Brown, Madonna,
yeah,
everybody. That's my guy. That's my homie. But you
yeah.
know what? When on that beach, whatever he was saying,
Mm,
it's like I understood him. I
mm.
felt him every bit of it, whatever pain, whatever questions he had, I felt it. So I get what you're saying there.
Definitely. R&B was something that I had to fit myself into. It was something that I had to become. Because I was always the odd man out in music. I was always that. I always played that role. Um, things
To
that I
R&B
did.
for church.
Well,
You switched
no,
to
the things
R&B.
I was always the odd man there as well. Just
Okay.
always the odd guy. I was a black kid, who, knew how to yodel and do
You gonna
weird
yodel for
things
us?
like, huh?
You gonna yodel for us?
Yeah, yes.
You got to.
but it was really weird, and I would just do all of these way out, far out things, and people would look at me like, like, I'd be like in the middle of a gospel song, just be like, yodel, 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 yodel. That's just like really weird, really, really weird. It took a while. It took a while before I was accepted,
Okay.
what I mean, by people. But my weirdness, my quirkiness, what I
Be,
mean, was
be,
accepted. You know what I'm
because
saying?
you think it's signed to Bad Boy was your third record label, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Third
absolutely.
time's the charm. Okay, there it is. And
Yeah,
so
definitely.
with the first two, because I know there's some artists that are on here listening as well.
Well,
So
first I was on Epic, and then Motown after that, and those didn't work out. So, You know, it was, yeah, it was really tough. I was actually singing with a group, you know, that just really didn't want to continue being
The
beat up by
formula.
business. You know, we were out there, you know, just taking a lot of beatings and taking a
The
lot of
formula, right?
taking a lot of industry beatings, shall we say?
Was it the
You know,
formula?
so they just didn't really want to continue, and I was real
Okay.
hurt. I was real hurt by that, and you know, I went through a, you know, when the group broke up, I went through a just this really deep depression. You know, I can remember, like, I'm gonna tell you how depressed I was. I'm gonna keep it all the way 100 with you,
Okay.
like I can remember being, I can remember being at my girlfriend's apartment with no job and the advance money running out and me in my pajamas all day. And I would literally be digging in her ashtray, busting open her clips, making that junk joint, making that junk,
I think if you've ever smoked, you've done that
that
somehow.
junk blunt. I was like, the
I
making
think
that
every
junk blunt, just in there
I think if you've ever
smoking
smoked,
ashes, making myself sick. You know.
I think if you've ever smoked weed in your life, you've done that at
Yeah,
least once.
you definitely done busted open them clips
Yeah.
and made do with them. Stop fronting. Stop fronting.
At least once, because honey, life teaches you lessons, and your
Yeah, I
lessons
can
end up right
literally
in the
remember
ass.
her. I can literally remember her coming home from work like, "Hey man, you got to snap out of this, man. Like,
Oh
you
my
got to snap
God.
out of this."
But you know what? I think what it is that on the road to greatness, you have to have that low point. You have to have that low point because it reminds you to stay humble. It reminds you of where you could be if you don't manage this right. So I think that is necessary for
Mm-hmm.
you to have that. And I would rather have it before I get it
Well,
than to have it.
when it becomes, you know, when it becomes what I've learned about being humble is humble humble isn't an acquisition. It's a side effect of grace.
Mm,
You know what I mean? That's what I learned.
okay.
It's a side effect
Of
of grace.
grace.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because what
Definitely.
it could. I got
Yeah.
you.
I mean, when you think about where you could have ended up, or
Right.
when you think about how bad it could have been,
Right.
you know, or you know,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you look in the mirror like, you look in the mirror like, Lord, why me? You know what I mean? And
Right.
there's so many other singers that were so much better than me, and there were singers that could sing circles around me,
Mm.
you know, but God chose me to break through.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Chose me to break through, and that was just something that I just really couldn't believe.
You know
Um,
what? Mm.
you
And
know,
a
it just
lot.
kind of seemed like I was never really. It just kind of seemed like I was the type of kid that was never really picked for anything. You know, and I would say, you know, that really followed me, you know, throughout my life. But
Mm.
you know, when I was in grade school, something happened to me in grade school that
Okay.
really, you know, changed the trajectory. And believe it or not, it was Ronald McDonald. You know what I mean? It was when I
Ronald,
was in
what did
grade
he do?
school, literally, when I was in grade school,
Okay.
Ronald McDonald came to our school and he was doing magic tricks, you know. And so, like I said, you know, I wasn't really used to, you know, being picked for anything, you know. So when he asked for an assistant to do his magic tricks, like he was standing on stage and I was in the middle of 1,000 kids and he pointed right at me. And I was looking behind me like what? Who, you know, and he literally pointed right at me, and all the kids were like, oh. And I went up
Okay.
there, and I went up there with my man Ronald McDonald, and I helped him do his magic tricks. And after that, I was I was a little small time celebrity around the school.
That's what's up.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
You know what? It's so crazy. I listened to Pastor Keon today, and he said, don't worry about when people overlook you. He said because and question if you're worthy. He said people overlook things a lot
Yeah,
of times because they can't afford it.
yeah,
Because they can't afford it, and that's that, and often that's true. It's because they know what they're able to handle, and they just
right.
can't handle you. So that's all it is.
Mm.
And when God begins to open those doors, He'll bless you openly in a
Yeah.
massive way. So
But I
so
mean, it's part of the process. Second guessing yourself is part of the process.
yeah, for examination.
It's your responsibility to break through that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I
I
love
don't know how
you.
many I don't know how many of my friends, opened their doors to me. And yeah, I was that dude,
I like that.
on the
Overlook but not
couch.
unchosen.
I gotta thank Troy Taylor, because if it wasn't for Troy, I never would have saw my way. But I was like that dude on the couch, you know what I mean? Like in Half Baked. I was the guy. I was the guy on the couch. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about me, Thurgood. The robbery is what you should be concerned with. No, no, but no, but but if it wasn't for Troy, you know, I don't know where I would have been, because I got a chance to see him go through his trials, and I got the chance to see him get knocked down, time after time, and I never knew what it was driving him to pick himself back up, but I just said to myself, man, if he can get up from this, then man, I know I can get up. And I never really forgot that. Troy, if you're on here, man, thank you, brother. I love you. And I
Shout
never
out to
forgot
Troy.
that. And I always tell everybody that I know, you know what I mean, who it was that catapulted me to that position. Troy taught me how to be an artist and how to be the songwriter that I wanted to be. The first song. I mean, don't get me wrong, because the first song I wrote was a hit. You know what I mean? I was 6 years old in the first grade, and it was called Stars, Cars, and Candy Bars. You know what I'm saying?
Stars, cars, and candy
Stars,
bars.
Cars,
How I
and
go?
Candy Bars.
You're gonna have
And
to
my
sing a
mom,
line.
and look, my mom still has that song to this day. You know what I
Shout
mean?
out, Mom. Mom's a big
And
supporter.
one day you're gonna see me debut that song on Sesame Street. I'm telling you right now.
We gonna
Stars,
claim that right now.
Cars,
Stars,
and Candy
car.
Bars. I'm telling you.
Okay, stars, cars, and candy bars.
Telling you, it was number one record. It was the number one record. You know what I mean? I just didn't know it at
On
the
the
time.
playground.
Yeah, definitely. And she still has that song right now. Whenever I get discouraged, she shoves that song in my face. Like, hey, you can write another Stars, Cars, and Candy Bars. You know what I'm saying? So
Shout
I
out
was,
to Mom.
I was well versed. I was well versed at it. You know what I'm saying?
What? Do you know who I saw your mom with?
Oh
You
no,
know
I don't.
Chris Tucker's mom, Mother Tucker.
Oh yeah. They're
I
good
be so
friends.
scared to say her name.
Yeah, they're
I
good
mess
friends.
up.
They're very good friends. They're
She
very
is
good
so
friends.
funny.
They church buddies. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
at the coach, and we were at the Kojic convention.
They church buddies. Yeah, I'm not Kojic, but I definitely love Kojic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it
I
can be
definitely
loud.
love it. You can't forget that little child upbringing and what have you. It definitely laid the foundation and just put me right where I needed to be with the confidence. You know what I'm saying? But it was my foundation. It was my foundation that was laid by those that came before me. That really made me feel like I could do this. And, you know, I know that there's a lot of people that, you know, have opinions about where they think I should be and, you know, all of these things. But you got to understand that this journey was mapped out, you know, by God. This journey was mapped out by God. I didn't map out my own journey. And I'm still very much, you know, I'm still very much in the middle of that path, you know, and
Yeah.
I still am a dreamer. You know, I dream about doing different things and becoming different things, you know. So I really hope that when people see me doing other things besides music, that I hope that people respect the fact that I dreamed about those things and they came true as well, just like I dreamed about music. You know what I mean? In the same fashion. So, you know, there's still a lot of aspirations. I still have levels and heights to go to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, really cool.
You know what? I think when people do comment on your journey, it's that when you sing, like even when okay, because we're gonna bring up that side B that you did, okay, which was awesome. The B side. I'm sorry, the B side. Okay,
Oh
and it was
yeah, yeah.
absolutely yeah, it was absolutely awesome. You know, it was right after the Teddy Riley thing, and then
Right, right,
it
right.
was like so much pressure, like because everybody was like, okay, what is he about to bring? And when I tell you, you
No, you
brought it.
know, I've really you know, shout out to DJ Katron, you know, one of my really good brothers and friends, you know. He wanted to make sure that my sound was right. And
Mm,
because everybody was complaining about what was going on over with Teddy Riley and Babyface, and you know, so he
hold on
just
one
really
second.
wanted to
Someone
make
said my background is loud. 1 second.
okay,
Okay. Okay, is
yeah,
that better?
but he just really wanted to make sure that my sound was right and everything was, you know, like it was supposed to be. So, and I didn't even have time to actually watch the you know, Teddy and Babyface verses until you know until the next time they did it, and I'm really glad that they did that
Mm,
because you know it really encouraged me watching that because that verses really showed me where I was from, and it just
mm.
really reminded me, you know, where you know of my path and the things that I've been through because I monitored a lot of my life through their music, in the
Okay.
same fashion that people monitor a lot of their lives and mine, you know. So that was just really great. That was just really wonderful, you know.
But and it really was, but what you did, I mean, like you had everybody just going crazy in the comments. Everybody just was like, "Oh my God, your voice was on point." I mean, your
Yeah.
bathrobe, you had your
And
robe, it
and
was grown and
it gave
sexy.
me a chance to do some records that I really wanted to do, like My Valentine.
Yeah.
Much love to my brother Gordon Chambers. For those of you that don't know, Gordon Chambers actually wrote My Valentine, as well as If You Love Me for Brownstone, as well as I Apologize for Anita Baker. And the you know the list really goes on and on. But that's my brother, and you know he really saw fit to come right where I was instead of you know, giving me a piece of material to where I had to metamorphosize and change and switch up and what have you. And you know, it was like Gordon came and just kind of got right in line with the project and what everybody else was doing. So that was just a blessing, man. That was really a blessing.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Also wrote I Just Thought You Should Know as well. I
Okay.
just thought you should know. The day just don't stop for me till you walk through the door. You know, and
Mm.
yeah, man, Gordon was really instrumental in encouraging me to go to different levels, you know, with the material.
Carl, it's about to get real ghetto, okay? It's about to get real ghetto in
Okay.
about 10 seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
One,
My
two, three,
mom, she knows I'm interviewing you,
four,
and I told her don't come
five,
over, and she's at
six,
my door.
seven.
But she ain't coming out.
You know your mother reminds me of Evangelist Dottie Peoples.
Oh my God. I think she's
Evangelist
having
Dottie
trouble.
People, Lord, bring the evangelist in.
No, no. I think she's having troubles at the door. I'm not getting up though. But I'm just wanting
I
to
think you better
forewarn
open
you.
that door for Mama.
Carl, Carl, you gonna make me open the door?
I think you better open that door for Mama so we can at least show, you know, me and your mama.
Hold on. Sheesh. Oh my
Yeah, you know
God.
we love each other,
This
see?
has never happened.
See?
Oh my God.
Mama done came over.
You know I'm interviewing
I,
Carl, right? Thomas, Lord, she's I'm doing an interview.
that's right.
She's
Hi,
oh
Mommy.
my. Carl said hi. Hold on.
Hey. That's all right, man.
Oh
That's
my
all
gosh,
right.
she just popped over. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. But yes, yes. But go ahead, continue. We were on Gordon. Yes.
But yeah, no, I was just saying that, you know, he really was instrumental in me being able, you know, to take the material to different levels, you know.
Okay.
You know, you need that. I just kind of had the right people behind me. You know, somebody once told me, he said, "Man, I never seen anybody lay down in the path like you." And I was like, "Well, what does that mean?" You know what I mean? Lay down in the path. But they were really like, you know, you really laid yourself down in the path of opportunity, and the right people tripped over you, and the right people tripped over you just to notice you. And I thought about that. I was like, wow, you know, that really stuck with me still to this day. You know, when younger artists ask me for advice, you know, I tell them, man, you know, you got to lay yourself down in the path of opportunity, and sooner or later somebody will trip over. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. And how does it feel to be a part of one of the biggest movements in music history? I mean, like Bad Boy, I mean, it was just crazy. Okay. I mean,
Well,
all the talent that came out of that.
you know, you don't, you know, you kind of see that in hindsight. You kind of see that in hindsight, but at the time, you know, I was just really just trying my hand at being a solo artist, you know, by default, rather, you know. And, you know, we were just a bunch of kids that seen what Puff did with Mary and Jodeci and, you know,
Right.
Father MC and all the wonderful things he did at Uptown. And we was like, dude, you know, and he took, you know, artists like Biggie and polished them off to the point to where, you know, Biggie was one of the most prolific voices I've ever, you know, heard, you know, because,
Yes.
and a lot of people don't know that Biggie had 2 first albums, you know what I mean? But it played out very well. He had one
Okay.
album that just leaked in the streets and everybody had it, but it was that leaked album, and I still ask Puff to this day, like, man, did you mean to do that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it was like the whole New York had Biggie's, you know, street album, and then, you know, he came out, you know, with Juicy, and, you know, the rest is history. So us just watching that, we was like, yo, man, we know what you can do. Like, just, you know, do the same thing for us, you know, like, make us a star, man. Like, you know, put some of that shiny suit dust on us, man. We need that. You know. You know.
You know what? I mean, because everything with Bad Boy at the time, everything with Diddy was just always, of course, it was. Oh, I'm not gonna call it over the top. It just stood out. You know, it was different.
Yeah, I
It was just
mean,
loud.
because
And he knew what he was
the way
doing.
Puff looked at it was the stage lights are never off. The lights are never off.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? The lights are
And
never
even
off.
though it
The
was
stage is
extreme,
always
it
on.
got people talking. It had people
Absolutely.
talking. I mean, like and to me, he's a great strategist. I mean, absolutely
Yeah,
great in marketing,
yeah.
great
Like
in strategy.
I think it was a strategy, you know what I mean, to definitely, leak that big album. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what?
But one of the
Now,
hottest, but seriously though, before my album, like, one of the he made my album sampler one of the hottest products that wasn't even for sale. Like,
you're go
yeah,
ahead.
because for promotional purposes, we get an album sampler,
Okay.
and he had me, like, I think it was like right before Christmas. I think it was myself and Jeff Burrows and Tonya Selvon. We actually got on an airplane and just flew around to the different markets, and we hand delivered the sampler, personally, and
Guerrilla
sat down and
marketing at its best.
yeah, we hand delivered the sampler to the program directors, and then made
Mhm.
sure that we left them a fruit basket with their favorite bottle of whatever it is that they were drinking, and made sure that we had a wonderful
Something,
conversation.
something.
Made sure that we had a wonderful conversation so that they knew, who I was as a person, let alone who I was as an artist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how many songs was on the sampler?
It was like 8 records on there. That's it.
Okay.
It was
All right.
like 8 records.
That's a heck of a sampler. Okay.
Yeah,
That's some
definitely.
folks'
Yeah.
whole album.
But they weren't even full songs.
So just little snippets of,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
wow. It don't take much.
absolutely.
It don't take much.
So, and that experience, what I learned from that was the personal touch, and that doing things by remote control is not always the best way to go. You know, um, Sometimes you have to get out there and you have to get in people's faces
Yeah.
and you have to literally touch them. So, um, by the time I Wish was released, I had no idea what was going on. I had literally no idea.
Mm.
We were in Europe and we were doing the European leg of the No Way Out tour. And I was just a background singer that, had a little feature. I had my little feature in the show where he bring me out, and everybody, "Oh, this is Carl Thomas," and I had no idea that I Wish was blowing up in the States. I had no
Mm.
idea at all
Because you were
until,
number two in Japan as well.
huh?
As the import, you were number two in Japan as the import artist, right? At,
Absolutely,
under
absolutely,
Mariah,
yeah.
right under
Yeah,
Mariah
and in
Carey. So
Japan,
that's
yeah, that was kind
crazy.
of weird. That was kind of weird. I was literally the number two import artist in the country of Japan, right? And that was just,
I mean, that's
something.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah, that was
How does that
really,
happen? How does that happen? I mean, because I know the language barrier, of course,
yeah.
but
Well,
it seems like the
not when it
music
comes to
trend.
music.
That's what I was about to say. But when it comes to music, it just transcends or
Not when it
translates
comes to
over.
music. Yeah, yeah.
That's
Hey, my man
crazy.
Amadeus just checked in. Love, bro. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, but
I'm getting with Amadeus next week. Well, not this week, the following week.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
crazy. MD
Yeah,
portrays
he's one of
songs,
the
he
great
does his
ones.
thing.
Amadeus is one of the great ones. I don't know if he knows it, but he's definitely one of the great ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
the
Sexy
next
here. I
project,
see you, girl.
the next project is definitely being recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, I definitely like the fans' opinion on what the single should be. So we'll definitely have to put something together that will allow them, that will allow them to judge what that is going to be. You know, I really take people's opinion. I really take
Mm-hmm.
people's opinion to heart. When it comes to the music. You know, so we'll definitely have to put something together for that.
What is your favorite song on the Emotional album?
Um, well, I don't really think I don't really think I have one. I don't really think I have a favorite. That album was kind of like a moment for me. Like if you really go back and listen to that album, I was a really frustrated young dude just trying to find a way to get it all out in the
I heard you
studio.
put it as a delicate way. You found a beautiful way to complain.
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is. I mean, you know how it is. The dynamic between men and women is that, you know, it's okay for you guys to complain, you know, then that's okay. But, you know, when it comes to us complaining, you know, it just kind of comes off bitch made. If I'm allowed to say that, you know.
I think we can get away with it tonight. I think we can get away with it.
It just kind of comes off, you know, so like that. So, you know, I found that I could use music, I could use my songs as a way to kind of get the frustrations out. And, you know, like records like, you know, You Ain't Right, you know, and, you know, I Wish I Never Met Her and things like that. And it was
I
really
felt that
like a
way.
release for me. I don't really, yeah, it was like a period in my life where me really getting those things out was just really necessary. You
Mm. But you know what? For myself, you know, because when I was younger, I really wasn't into relationships. I didn't care at all. But
know? Mm-hmm.
as I'm older
Well,
and I listen to,
that's because you're hard. That's because you're hard.
man,
That's
it's
because
not
you're hard.
true. You know what? You know what? For me, younger, man, I just
No,
wanted to have fun. I did not. All my girls wanted to be booed up and love, and I'm like, turn up. Hey, I'm Buju Banton. I'm Morgan Heritage. I'm on a whole nother level. And they just wanted to be all lovey dovey, and I just didn't. I mean, I enjoyed R&B, but for me, it was all about fun. But as I'm older
yeah,
now, and I just
yeah.
went through a little situation. I mean, and I listened to I Wish, I was like, dang, I do wish I
Definitely.
never met this Negro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's a lot of people that wish they would have seen the exit sign first. You know, and so I get it. But
we see it, we ignore it.
the biggest
We,
surprise for me was just, you know, watching the hardest dudes, you know, just got out of prison, black lip, missing teeth.
it's real, man. I mean, it's so real
Yeah,
because
that was really, yeah,
I think you
that
became
was
like the
really special for
spokesperson
me.
for men. Like, oh, we have a voice. You know, we like, you know, I love you, but I can't mess with you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
complicated. It's too much going on, and you choosing this situation
definitely.
over what I'm trying to offer you. And nobody really put it like that. It was either we are just getting down and dirty, or I don't want to mess with you
Right,
at all. There was nothing in between that
right.
says, you know, I wish we could be together, but your situation is just too tough. So, you know, I
Mm-hmm.
just wish I never met you because I love you so
Yeah.
much. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I think you were able to give a voice, a real solid voice and perspective for men who may not have had it. And then
Right.
you continue to do it throughout the song. You know, from Cold Cold World. Oh my goodness, that's
It's
one
a
of my favorites.
cold, cold, cold world.
World,
Yeah. That was, yeah. Coco
yeah.
World was inspired by my past life pimping. You know what I mean? I don't, you know, I don't Madison Avenue on the west side of Chicago. You understand me?
Yeah.
But no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Haha. That was a joke. That was a joke. But I fashioned that song after I wrote that record. I think I wrote that record.
Boom. All right.
There you
Okay.
go.
All right, we good. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so
So
listen.
so you thinking we can get some questions going? You know.
Absolutely. We're about to do these questions because I don't want to keep you all night. We appreciate all the love.
Oh,
All the
hold on.
love,
Wait a minute.
honey.
Wait. Hold on. We asked some questions, right?
Yes, we do. Okay, now we had some on the other one, but they have to resend them on this one because it just
But
refreshed. We knocked them out.
hold on. Let me get the question shades. Okay, all right. Now we got the question. We got
We
the
got the
question shades.
question stage. Oh my God, y'all. Okay, listen, if y'all have questions for Carl, you grown and sexy over
We
here.
got the questions. We
If
got the
you
questions.
had, you know what, I'm going to switch out.
What is the inspiration behind the song Summer Rain? You know, when I actually talked to DJ Rogers about the inspiration behind Summer Rain, um, what he told me was that he wanted to write something. He said he wanted to write something that that made people just vibrate very high and feel good. And I wanted a record like that as well, you know, to where I wanted a record to where, you know, for me in my life, that record was Billy Joel. You know, don't go changing, try and please me. Never work that hard for. You know, that was no matter how I felt, no matter what I was going through, that record brought me out of a rut. So I wanted to record a record like that. And you know, for me, Summer Rain represented that record, you know, on my album. No matter, you know, what type of, because I definitely, you know, suffer from depression a little bit more than other people. And that's okay. Everybody has their bag, you know. But that was just a record that could just bring me out of any kind of rut I was in or any way I was feeling at the time, you know.
I think that did it for a lot of people. A lot of
Yeah.
people. Yeah, definitely me. And it's playing right now. Listen, y'all, if y'all have y'all questions, I'm gonna turn up a little bit. If y'all have y'all questions, go ahead and send them to me. What is your all-time favorite Carl Thomas song, Mr. Thomas?
My all-time favorite Carl Thomas song.
Has your passion
Wow.
for love been restored?
It would have to be it would have to be a I'd say a cross between Giving You All My Love,
Okay.
featuring Kelly Price, and I Just Thought You Should Know.
Mm. Okay.
Those are, you know, my Thai favorite records, you know.
Man, Kelly Price,
Yeah.
crazy, unbelievable. Just what?
Yeah, you know, it's crazy because Kelly was out there with me on the road
Mm-hmm.
singing background with Puff while she was getting ready for her major, you know, her major label
Debut.
debut as well. So,
Mm.
you know,
You know, and she sung background for Mariah.
oh yeah, that was definitely, you know, like, you know, her foot in the door was, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, absolutely.
Who would you like to work with above all? Alive,
Above
celebrity.
all,
Yeah.
above all,
Your top
uh,
three. Your top three. I'm gonna
my
switch
top
that.
three that I would, I'd say my number one, the number one artist that I would love to work with is Tony Bennett, and that's because I don't really. That's because I want to hurry up and get that out of the way. You know, I don't know how much longer the Lord is going to keep Tony here, but
You're a
um,
jazz person. You ever thought about a jazz album?
yeah, definitely. I've thought about that. But my number two person to work with would be Sting, because Sting is the reason why I wanted to become an artist. And I'd say the number three person that I've always wanted to work with is Janet Jackson.
Miss
Because,
Jackson.
yeah, because Janet had, I've never seen, how do you describe it? Like, Janet Jackson possessed a certain magic that I've only seen in Nancy Wilson and Shirley Horn. And
I know
what I
Nancy
mean by
Wilson.
that is Janet, what separated her from every other female and still does, is that she had a gift for macking men. I mean, Janet would just mack you. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a lot of dudes think, you know, think they be macking, but nah, man, no. Nah, Janet Jackson was straight up mack you. She knew how to subdue men, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in the same fashion that Shirley Horn did it, you know.
I need to listen to Shirley.
There's a song that Shirley Horn has called Estante. And
Asante. Mm.
Estante simply means summer. So she was saying, Estante, you make me feel like summer. And in the song, she has lyrics that say um, something about your sweet caresses, and then right after that she says, "You turn my timid nose into eager yeses." And I've never heard anybody.
My tender
I've never
nose
heard
to
anybody
eager yeses.
speak
Okay.
like that. I've never heard another human being speak like that before. You know what I mean? To where
I love
she
it.
was completely subduing to a man, and in that subduing, she made men
I see you,
look at,
Don.
look at the best version of themselves.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And if I had a third person, no, that was my third person, but
You're
I got
three.
one more person. I would
Okay.
have to say Stevie Wonder, definitely. You know,
Yes,
Stevie,
absolutely.
yeah, Steve.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Stevie Wonder is I'm proud to call him friend and brother,
Thank you,
but
Hissy.
you know, he's definitely um someone that is an enigma. You know what I mean? Just as far as what he does, I don't think that I will ever
Hey, Don.
fully understand The Secret Life of Plants. You know, that album, although it was, you know, so abstract, you know, and it didn't, The Secret Life of Plants really was a forgotten about Stevie Wonder album, but it definitely possessed the mystery of his career. You know,
I got to
within,
see what's all on there.
yeah, within that body of work. You probably know that because Send Her Your Love is on that album.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Send her your love, make sure that she knows it. You know, yeah. So those are my top four artists that I would absolutely love to work with. Yeah.
You know what? One song about Janet Jackson. Um, you ever heard "Warm"?
Oh yeah, definitely one of my favorite records.
So wait, I was in the grocery store. I have my playlist on, and I was in the grocery store, and it came on, and it's one of those songs that you want to turn it off because you know where it's about to take you, but you can't turn it off because it's just a good song, you
Right,
know.
right,
And I'm just in the
absolutely.
grocery store listening to the words of my mouth, my
Yeah.
hands. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, okay, wait. Now I'm gonna have to go ahead
Yeah,
and skip this one. Come back later. This
absolutely.
ain't. It's distracting me from the broccoli and stuff. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, okay. I definitely love your list. I saw a poet. His name is Don, and he's a fairly new poet. And because you are a writer yourself, is there any advice that you can give to the writers, the poets out there that are looking to find their niche, how to transition from where they are to where they need to be? Any advice?
Well, I would say that as a writer, you it's important to pay attention to the dictation of the melody because melody is going to dictate what the song is about. See, we don't really, as Black people, we don't really have to concentrate that much on rhythm. You know, we are crystalline melanin. You know, we are a people who God gave us, literally gave us the command over the science of vibration. So when you're Black, you are literally a walking drum. You know what I mean? Everything that you do is rhythm. Simply,
That's what James Brown said.
yeah, everything that you do is rhythm. The way you walk, the way you speak to people, everything you do is rhythm. But everything that we do is not melody because we are a quasi people. And there's many ways to be Black, and no one can tell you how to be Black, you know. So it's really important. It's really important that you know, we pay attention to what the melody is dictating when writing a song because ultimately it's going to lead you down the right path. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, you know, there's just a couple of things that I just want people to know before I have to get off of here. Um, I listened to the brother Stephen A. Smith tell the NBA players that them protesting had nothing to do with them going back to work. And I'd like to just take this time right now to say, brother, you're absolutely wholeheartedly wrong, because there is a system to protest, and people really need to understand that protest does not work without boycott. You see how they go together? They go together. I'm the son of a freedom rider. I'm the son and a grandson of a freedom rider. My grandmother was one of those older ladies um, frying chicken for the bus boycotts in Selma. Like, she knew Reverend King and Reverend Abernathy when they were young men,
Mm.
and I definitely, was taught about what it took to break through. And if in fact we're going to break through with our protest, then we have to partner our protest right along with our boycott. Now, with that being said, the boycott of it is the hardest part. And I understand why people don't want to
Yes.
do it,
Right.
because the boycott
Sacrifice.
is the sacrifice. The
Mm-hmm.
boycott is the sacrifice. And I don't think
And
that a lot of us,
are
you know,
ready, willing,
not
able.
ready. I wouldn't say that. I don't think that a lot of us realize, that level of sacrifice that it takes for a protest to be heard. The protest,
Mm.
you know what I mean, is our marketing campaign. What do we want? What are we screaming about? What do we
Right.
want?
Right.
Why are we in an uproar? That's the protest. You know what I
But that
mean? The
boycott is saying
boycott.
I'm serious.
Now, the boycott is the ripple in the pond effect. You know what I mean? It literally is the ripple in the pond effect. It is the you know, it is the action after the battle cry. And it is the works.
Mm.
It is the works that are behind the faith.
Right.
You know what I
Ha.
mean? It's the works that are behind the faith. And we really need to just kind of remember that.
Yeah.
And you know, a strategy, you know what I mean, behind what we're doing. Dr. John Henrik Clark said a strategy is like an orange. And once you have squeezed the juice out of an orange,
Mm.
you throw it in the garbage. You know what I mean? Now, we've got to know once we've squeezed all of the juice out of the orange, and then so we can change up our strategy. You know what I mean? We're fighting three things. If you want to know, we're fighting three things. And whether someone wants to admit it or not, the Supreme Court, the 12 individuals on the Supreme Court, they are the gatekeepers of our oppression. In 1967, uh, there was a resolution that the Supreme Court added, and that resolution, and now let me say that a resolution is something that you add to a law without changing
The
the
law.
core of it. Now, there
Mm-hmm.
was a resolution that was added to a law, and that resolution was called qualified immunity, and it was initially meant to protect federal officials from
Mm.
prosecution from crimes that
A lot.
they were innocent of, but even if they were guilty, qualified immunity would protect you. Now,
Mm. Which is the
now
same
I
thing
will
they're
say, now
seemingly
I will
doing
say
now in
this:
Atlanta.
if everybody wants to know the contrast of the police being protected by a federal statute, a federal resolution, the police are not paid by the federal government. The police are paid by state and local tax dollars. So in your community, in your town where you live, as your chief of police, why are you being paid by my local and state tax dollars and being protected
By
by a
federal.
federal resolution? This is the contrast. Okay, that's the first thing that we're fighting. The second thing that we're fighting is something called Dred Scott. Okay, now Dred Scott was a case. I forgot when it was. Dred Scott was a case that basically at the end of it, on the books, it made black people, I think, 3/5 of a human being. So you've got to understand that it is not about the color of the officer. It is about the fraternal order that they serve. And you have to understand that when it comes to police officers, the fraternal order that they serve is deeper than the United States flag. It's deeper than the government. A
I'm looking
fraternal
at it
order,
right now.
yeah, a fraternal order is in fact what we are fighting. To be specific, a Masonic fraternal order.
It was
Yeah,
it was
when the
go
police look at a black child or looks at a black man, legally they're not looking at a human being.
at all.
They're not looking at a human being. They're looking at some type of monkey dog hybrid humanoid thing. You know what I mean? That's what they're looking at. So it's easy for them to pump 14 bullets in your ass. You know what I mean?
And I said that. I said because we're always identified as either the black people, as if we're the black. What do you mean the black people?
Black.
As if we're
the black.
as if we're some type of
The
entity or some type of object. And I'm like,
yeah.
until we get that together, the color is just fluff. Until we are
Right.
considered human.
Right.
We have to be
we're not even
we have to be
considered.
considered
You have
human.
to understand that we're not even considered human by the law.
And the Dred Scott, what you're mentioning was the Dred Scott versus Sanford. And it was a landmark decision of the U.S. Supreme Court in which the court held the U.S. Constitution was not meant to include American citizenship for black people, regardless of whether they were enslaved or free. And you're absolutely right. And when I listened to a lot of different arguments, I said, we're never going to get to the root until we're first considered to be human.
Until we're human. Yeah.
And that
then
is the problem.
Thing, I would have to say the third thing that we're fighting is the need for the amendment of the 13th. What's that? The amendment of the 13th Amendment in the Constitution. Right. You know what I mean? Which says slavery is outlawed unless what? Unless you're a prisoner, unless you're in jail. So basically, Reconstruction. When someone says Reconstruction, a lot of people don't know what that was, but Reconstruction was actually the restructuring of the system of free labor. Because as long as you have slavery, the word slavery that is accepted somewhere, it can subconsciously be accepted anywhere. And ultimately, because you would have been in jail. You would have been in jail. Ultimately, the outsourcing of prison labor has to be the most satanic thing outside of something called human resources. You know what I mean? Literally a human being as a resource. That has to be the most satanic thing that I've that I've heard. So we need to change the 13th Amendment and stop the prison outsourcing to corporate America, the free laborer. Paying me 13 cents to make Nikes is basically slave labor. It's the same thing as, you got me in a legal sweat camp. They found ways. And you got to understand, white supremacy will always justify their actions in the name of the law. The problem with the law is that the law is not and does not line up with what is righteous. Period. It's, oh my God. And you know what I've noticed, and I'm not gonna, I know you gotta go because I can go deep into this. What I notice about, because I'm an observer, and when I see a lot of, they need and no, I'm like, we're going in circles. We're not getting to the point. When you're saying about abolishing slavery, even in the prison system. And I look even in the penal system, absolutely. And I'm looking at the prison systems, and I'm looking at what goes on. How is this legal? How are they able to work this off?
and
I
do
just
all
had a
this stuff.
cousin. I just had a cousin that was just recently released from prison after 27 years, and his road to prison started with, basic being singled out in school, just being singled out by white teachers. You
They
know,
just give us money when you're wrongly convicted. They just give you money to like, okay, that'll fix it.
yeah.
You know that
But
that'll fix it.
when you're labeled a troublemaker, um, in these Caucasian controlled institutions, that follows you. That follows you into the street. That truancy officer, 9 times out of 10, that truancy officer works for the police department, and they're letting everybody know, well, these are the troublemakers. These are the bad kids or what have you. And when you get that mark on you, it's really hard to get it off.
To shake it, yeah.
Yeah, definitely, it's really hard to get it off. But I've seen it with my own eyes, and I know that a lot of people don't believe it, but kids are picked out for prison in grade school. Kids are picked out for prison in grade school. Like
So I would say unconsciously.
no,
Like if you
no,
oh,
no, 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 no. I know that it's hard for people to think that it really is that evil, but it really is that evil.
systematic. Okay. Okay, so when you say they're chosen, so you have a
Oh
a,
yeah.
a, a class of, let's say,
Oh
15
yeah.
kids.
Oh
You have
yeah.
a
Oh yeah.
you
Your the record that is written about you through your school counselor, that is, I'm telling you, you're picked out for prison. I'm telling
now I
you.
understand what you're saying. All of the okay, the statistics, the your evaluations. There you go.
Absolutely.
I got what you're saying. And then everything
Absolutely.
is zoned. Everything then they know where we are. You're up the
Mm-hmm.
street. You're 3 blocks over here. That's why you have to go to the school in your area.
Right.
Because if you're not in your area, it's hard
Right.
to monitor you over here.
Right. Right.
When
Right.
I, you better go ahead. I hear you. I see it. Okay, I get it.
But with
So,
that being said, Dre, I really want to thank you for and
big brother, I
and
love you.
everybody has been really cool, and
I
just
love
it's
you.
a blessing for me to be here today. There's
We
been
love you.
a lot of adversity going on with artists right now,
Mm.
due to COVID-19 just basically putting a stop to everything. But I want to encourage the artists out there, you know what I mean, to just stay encouraged and stay on your path.
Yeah.
I truly believe that God has us all. It's just, it's rough out there right now. It really is. It's rough out there, and it's really easy to get discouraged. It's really easy to, just allow what you've been working so hard on to fall by the wayside. But I'm just pleading with you guys right now. Don't let it, don't let it get to the point to where, you quit, or you feel like you gotta quit, or, you need to go and, just change the entire trajectory of your life. This is just a period, in time that God is really going to bring us through. I believe it. I believe it.
Yes. Yes, he is, and he's doing it.
And stop trying to write the end of the story. Stop trying to write the end of the story, because you really don't know, how it's going to end up. You really don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's like my
Absolutely.
girl Joya said, keep pushing forward. That's right. That's
Keep
right, Joy.
pushing.
Keep pushing forward. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I love
Well,
y'all.
we
And
love you too. Thank
yeah,
you so much for being a part of Glasses After Dark. I mean, this has been very, very informative, very
it's
enlightening.
really
And
it's really crazy for me to be wearing dark shades, on the inside this late at night. But I appreciate you for the concept. Now I think I'm gonna wear some shades. I think I'm gonna wear some shades to bed. You know what I mean?
do what you
Or I
gotta
gotta
do,
get up and make a long drive
stay
in the
fly
morning.
on them. We love you, and we'll be in touch, okay?
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Everybody. Peace, y'all.
Cheers. Up. We got to do our cheers.
Oh, absolutely.
Cheers to
Absolutely.
much love and success and
Boom.
all the blessings.
All
All
right.
right. Have a good night, love. Thank you all for joining us tonight for Glasses After Dark. I have some amazing, amazing guests that's coming next week, and I'll be in Atlanta, so you don't know who I'm about to be with, okay? Because it is about to go to the next level, y'all. So definitely thank you so much for joining me tonight. This has been absolutely amazing. If you have questions and things that you would like for me to ask the artist, shoot me a DM. I respond. I absolutely do. So I love you all. Thank you, and have a wonderful night.